nobody on this road that can save your soul. Almost lost control now. Tell me what you need in a friend and now. Pray that we endure to the end again. I'm just saying that I'm here for you. When the world turn against you, I'ma be with you. Got my sword in my hand, you can count on me. I won't run and hide, fight mightily.
Waiting on you, how I see the Jacob, I'm the apple of my father's eye. I learned the truth for who I was and it made me cry. If I don't keep the laws of Yah, then I'm gonna die. Living curses, but I'm edifying in my verses. Prepare the hearses for the heathens who be steady.
Shalom, shalom. Call Yahweh Shema Mashiach, one Malak Yahweh Shai. All praise to the Most High God. Yahweh, we do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Hamashiach, God. Thankful for another blessed, mighty day to be alive at the end of the day, man. You know, there's so much trials and tribulations and judgments going and coming on the earth. We got to do our best in the name of the Most High to be able in these last days to divide truth from the lies, right? To divide righteousness from wickedness. And today on Man of Mondays, we are going to go into Thanksgiving, right? The pagan holiday of Thanksgiving, the pagan tree, food offered to idols, and the slaughter of Gad and Reuben, of the Gadites and the Reubenites. So, man, you know, it's always kind of a heavy thing when you really think about it, how we've been so indoctrinated and so ingrained in the culture of our destruction. You gotta really think about that. How we've been indoctrinated and trained up to hate ourselves, to celebrate the rape, robbery, the pillaging, the destruction of our people. And that's a very, very deep thing when you really consider how brainwashed we have become by this wicked world, right? And so tonight, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, we're going to dive right into it. We're going to dive right into it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. I want to start off with a couple of things. If you do not know, you know, there's a holiday, so-called holiday coming up called Thanksgiving, all right? And it's rooted in pagan rituals. It's rooted in wickedness. It's rooted in idolatry. It's rooted in confusion and lies. To trick you, to make you think that it's a celebration where the family gets together. Family was getting together, all right. It was getting together and it was killing your people. To make you think that it's we all coming together, kumbaya. You know, I really don't do it for the holiday. I do it just to celebrate. And it's a time for our family to get together. We don't get to see each other all year. So, Laki, I rebuke that spirit because I ain't even tired. So, we're going to get into it tonight. You know, I know a lot of y'all probably have seen different things like the cornucopia, you know, which is an arrangement that you normally see in celebration of fall. Well, a lot of these different customs and things are deeply rooted in idolatry, and the Most High God commands the children of Israel not to indulge in these things, but to separate from the customs of the other nations. So I'm gonna start off, right? Let's get a couple of precepts to kick it off. Let's get a couple of precepts through the spirit of power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Let's get Isaiah 14 and 23, because judgment is coming. Isaiah 14 and 23. I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the bosom of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts. You don't want to get caught up in all of this judgment that's coming to the earth because of the disobedience of the children of Israel, right? Because of the other nations perpetuating folly, madness, and mirth. It's a spirit of mirth that goes on in happiness and excitement on the left-hand side during these high satanic, ritualistic, pagan holidays that are rooted deeply into you not separating yourself from the ways of the world and the other nations, but more importantly, cleaving unto the things that are not profitable unto you. Let's get Revelations 18:4. A reminder, the Most High God commands us as the children of Israel to come out from among the heathen customs. Come out from among the ways of the world that we've been so accustomed to partake in, right? To try to be like everybody else. Hey, well, look, you're not like everybody else. The Most High God made you a chosen nation. The Most High God made you a royal priesthood of kings and priests, of gods on the earth and goddesses, right? And I said it, goddesses. Not in the sense of the modern day terminology of women, feminine energy. No, the Most High God said that ye are gods. In a feminine form would be goddess, right? The children of Israel, rulers, powers. So what business do you have them carving up a turkey, eating some dressing, eating some damn cranberry sauce, and partaking in the ways of America, in the ways of Babylon the Great, your oppressor? Revelations 18:4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. You don't want to be joined on to destruction. And that's what a lot of us are doing. A lot of us are being joined onto the destructions of America. We're being joined onto the destructions of our heritage. A lot of our children and our elders, they don't understand the severity and the seriousness of keeping these pagan holidays. You don't understand that you're making, the old people, like my great grandmother used to talk about not fornicating, not shacking up, right? They used to call it soul ties, not being joined unto, somebody else through sexual acts of lewd sexual, not married by the world standards. But our same elders have come into idolatrous relationships with false gods, have made a covenant with Satan, with the spiritual demon Satan, right? All of these folly days are rooted in these vain traditions. Let's get Daniel 7:18. We're going to talk about it, family. The book of Daniel, chapter 7-18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. If you want to be a partaker in the kingdom that is to come, you cannot serve two masters. You can't live it up here when the scriptures say come out from among her and be separate. You can't live it up here straddling the fence, keeping Thanksgiving, keeping Christmas, keeping Kwanzaa, keeping damn pagan New Year, living it up in this kingdom, in Esau's kingdom, and then think that when the Most High God sends Yahushua back to set up his everlasting kingdom, that you're just going to openly partake in the rulership that's been prophesied and promised to the children of Israel who come into this truth, right? 10 toes down. You might slip, you might fall, but you're not falling off. You earnestly contending for the faith. You're not giving your mind and your spirit over to the vanities of this world. So if you are planning on keeping so-called Thanksgiving, this is a strong rebuke and exhortation to not do it, to come out from among you and be separate. See, the saints of the Most High, let me get Psalms 149, are going to rejoice. And our rejoicing and not partaking in the ways of the world, right? The book of Psalms, chapter 149 and verse 2 through 6. You should have an overwhelming excitement, zeal, joy, desire, gratitude. You should feel spiritually empowered to not, be caught up in this madness. But a lot of our people are not going to take heed, right? They're going to get that turkey. They're going to fry the turkey. They're going to get the dressing. They're going to get the candy yams. They're going to get the cranberry sauce out the can, right? And they're going to get the gravy. They're going to have that pork ham. And they're going to serve it up. And say, and then they're going to have the audacity to say, hey, we're going to pray over this abomination. We're going to thank God that we're in idolatry and sacrificing to idols. Because God is blessing my family today to gather together. Don't be tricked out of your spot. The book of Psalms, chapter 149, verses 2 through 6. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp. For Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. And this is what we're looking for. We're looking to take pleasure into crying out to the Most High God and celebrating the holy days that he set up for us to celebrate. And Thanksgiving is not one of them. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of Yahweh be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand. And so we singing praises to Yahweh even by casting down the thought of celebrating Thanksgiving. All right. Let's get Romans 9 and 13. Now remember these things. The Most High God explicitly said, as it is written, Jacob have I loved. We are from the seed of Jacob. We often focus on the latter part of this verse, but Esau have I hated. Let's forget about Esau for a minute, right? Now, not on a carnal standpoint saying, forget the slavery, forget the history. Let's just not focus on Esau for a minute. The verse said, Jacob have I loved. That's you. The so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans of indigenous descent. Jacob, the children of Israel, have I loved. The Most High God loves you. He gave you a heritage. Let's get this. Let's get the book of Sirach, chapter 24 and verse 23. All these things are the book of the covenant of the Most High God, even the law which Moses commanded for an heritage unto the congregations of Jacob. The congregations of Jacob. What is that going to the 12 tribes, the congregation? The Most High God loved you and loved me and loved us enough to give us our own holy days to turn up on, that are rooted in righteousness, that have divine purpose, that have divine providence, that have excitement and joy and mirth and gladness, for us to congregate and convocate together, and righteousness, and exalting his name and praising the Most High God together. These are the things, family, that we got to focus on. You can't get caught up. Stop getting caught up in the ways of the world. Stop thinking that everything is not a big deal. Well, you know what, hey, Brother Nehemiah, it's not really a big deal. We just getting together with my family. Stop thinking that. Doesn't it say, I'm gonna get this quick precept, man. A man who contemneth little by little, right? Little by little. When you looking at the little things, all right? A laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich. Now, this isn't just going on to somebody who's working and they're always getting drunk on a physical level. This also is doing to, you can't be rich in spirit and serving the Most High God being drunk off the doctrines of America, being drunk off the ways of the world, being drunk off the idolatrous nature of wicked servitude on the left-hand side to these customs and these traditions of men that are contrary to what your God commands you to do. Let that sink in for a minute, right? And he that contemneth small things shall fall a little and little. So if you overlooking these things and saying, well, you know what, it's not really that big of a deal. Hey, we just going to eat turkey. It is a big deal because you're giving over your spirit, you're giving over your mind, you're committing, you're giving thanksgiving and joy and gratitude to idols. And this is very, very important for you to understand, man. This is not a I'm gonna say it, Salaki for my language. This is not a game. It's not a game, y'all. It's really not. And what you're doing, not only are you destroying yourself, if you're keeping these wicked folly days, you are one of the reasons why we are still in this captivity. You are helping further the affliction of your people, the heavy yoke of the curses, because you want to partake in idolatry. So we're going to get into this, right? We are going to get into this. A lot of these things go into harvest festivals. I want to show y'all this. Harvest feast, right? Look at this. This is a list of harvest feasts. A harvest festival is an annual celebration which occurs around the time of the main harvest of a given region. Given regional differences in climate and crops, harvest festivals can be found at various times throughout the world. Africa, you got Archia, Akore, the Mowo, look, new Yam Festival. These are different festivals all around the world that people celebrate that chiefly go into dedicating the harvest or the plentifulness or the yield of the harvest and attesting to the bountifulness of the harvest to a god or some type of force of nature. To some type of force of nature, right? And this is wickedness. And a lot of our people get caught up because you don't know the history. You don't know that Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all of these things are deeply rooted in ancient customs, practices, idolatrous traditions, and worship that have predated America. These aren't things that just started with the birth of America. These are ancient, pagan, wicked practices that you're partaking in. Every culture has a form of a harvest festival, multiple forms of harvest festival, right? In Asia, you got the Mid-Autumn Festival. China, the 8th full moon according to the lunar calendar. Look, Taiwan celebrates by the Amis people. Japan, Sakumi. You got just whatever this says in Korea. You got different harvest festivals, right? And look at this right here. Vishnu Kani setting. You see this? Where they put up a shrine of the produce as an altar and a dedication, right? Unto their gods, their idols. Look at this. It's literally a shrine. And why do they have these different oblations, offerings? So you have to understand when you're partaking in these ancient customs and these pagan feasts, It's a deeper meaning to what's going on. And every culture has it. Look, Holi. This is a big festival that they do in India around this time. Look at this. You notice all of these customs go into blowing smoke and all type of rituals and altars and thanking their gods for the plentifulness of the harvest. Southeastern Asia, Flora de Mayo in the Philippines, Gawai Dayak, you know, in all of these different cultures, they get together, they have parades, processions, right? Gawat Daya is a form of harvest festival celebrated on the 1st and 2nd of June annually in the state of Sarawak in Malaysia. And these festivities, right, are customs that are vain if you're an Israelite. Middle East. Look, they got Sukkot. Look, right here. This right here is actually goes into the Feast of the Tabernacles, right? Now, this, they're keeping it on the left-hand side because we know the so-called small hat are not the true people of the book, right? In Europe, look in Belarus or Belarus, they got Bagash. Look at this. Beni Shan, celebrated usually by a huge 7-course menu in Catholic parts of the French-speaking Switzerland. A combined harvest festival, Thanksgiving, in Rindia, the day when the animals are brought back from the high altitude pasture in the Alps, and when all villagers are also therefore back. So you have these different festivals, and look what you got here, a form of a cornucopia. See, these are idolatrous shrines and offerings to various forces of nature, as they call them, and various deities. This is what you have to understand when you're partaking in Thanksgiving. This is what this stuff is rooted in, right? So look, I'm going to show y'all something. Let's go on to the cornucopia. Bam. So a lot of you don't realize that when you're celebrating Thanksgiving, you see a lot. Let me show you right here. You see this as a fall decoration. Little do you know, this is actually going into worshiping another god. It's going into a high level of idolatry. But you were never taught this. You were taught that to go with the flow. You were taught to, it's okay. You were taught to go to the stores and buy one. It's just fall decoration. You were taught to accept it. You were taught to embrace it. You were taught to be desensitized to serving other gods. When your God is cutthroat, your God will kill you dead for serving another God. Your God will bring plagues on your entire generation for worshiping another God. But you've been desensitized. You've been lied to. You've been hoodwinked. You've been brainwashed into thinking that it's okay. In the latter days, knowledge shall increase. See, a lot of our mothers and fathers, our grandparents, and your auntie, your uncle bruh, your uncle Junebug, your uncle baby son, they didn't know these things. But now the Most High has been moving the spirit for knowledge to increase. So we can't stay deaf, dumb, and blind no more, y'all. Let's get into it. Cornucopia. A cornucopia, or horn of plenty, is a mythical horn that provides an abundance of food and is a symbol of nourishment and plenty. Today, it is also refers to a horn-shaped basket, often filled with fruit and vegetables for decoration, especially during Thanksgiving. and can be the name of various organizations, products, or publications. A cornucopia. Now let's look at the mythological origins. In Greek mythology, a lot of these things are rooted in ancient Greek customs. Remind you, you had Persians, you had the Babylonians way ago, you had the Medos, you had the Persians were conquered by the Greeks were conquered by the Romans, and America ain't nothing but ancient Rome in a modern viewpoint. Everything about America is ancient Rome. Everything about ancient Rome is ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, ancient Babylon. Get this through your thick Israelite head, man. Stop being deceived. Mythological origins. In Greek mythology, the cornucopia is the horn of Amalthea, the goat who nursed the infant Zeus, which is rooted in the Baphomet. So you literally, this is high satanic worship. High satanic worship. Zeus, a goat. Zeus was sucking on a goat's paps, the damn goat milk to nourish him up. This is the foolishness that you bring in the spirits that you invite willingly inside of your home. See, they don't have to trick you into going to worship the devil, because you willingly do it now. You willingly invite these spirits into your home. You willingly go get the cornucopia. You just say it's decoration. You willingly, around Thanksgiving time, you go get all these type of harvest things and you bring them in, not knowing that you're doing ignorantly in the spirit of a ritual. Plug up my laptop. By Shem Yahushua. You don't understand these things. But tonight we're going to uncover them through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. According to the legend, Zeus broke off the horn, which was then endowed with the power to be filled with whatever its owner desired. Magical, mythological, genie in a cornucopia, the horn of Amalthea. Now let's get this Amalthea, right? Let's get this Amalthea. Amalthea, look at this, y'all. Look at this, y'all. Amalthea most commonly refers to a figure in Greek mythology who is the foster mother of Zeus. So you might ask, well, okay, Nehemiah, I don't worship Zeus. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. When you bringing this into your house, you worshiping Zeus. You bringing a goat spirit of wickedness in your home. The foster mother of Zeus, either as a goat that nursed him or a nymph who fed him goat's milk, and to a small reddish moon of Jupiter. In mythology, she is the origin of the cornucopia, a horn of plenty, while the moon is notable for its heat in orbit within Jupiter's magnetic field. Foster mother of Zeus, Amalthea, is described as either a nymph or a goat that nursed the infant Zeus after his mother Rhea hid him from his father Kronos. And they call Kronos Father Time. Madness, y'all. And you know, if you ever heard of the word nympho, a nympho, somebody who's just overindulged in sexual desire and appetite to just fornicate. A nympho. That goes back to Greek mythology and these little nymphs who used to run around all horny, damn popping women and popping each other. So all this is multi-level, multi-high level of wickedness, y'all. But you've been tricked to think that it's only a cornucopia. You've been tricked to think it doesn't matter, right? Let's get into this real quick. I want to show y'all something, right? I want to show y'all something really quick, right? I'm going to show y'all the images. And where the statues at. Let me get you some. Bam, look at this. The Amalthea, the goat, nursing Zeus. All right. The horn of plenty. Now look, in ancient time, the cornucopia also represented a divine blessing from the gods. So when you bringing that into your home, notice the horn of plenty was supposed to be whatever anybody wished. That's why you have fruit and things inside of it in certain fall vegetation, because it's an offering to the gods of saying that give us an abundance of the yield of the crop, of the fall of the autumn crop. All right. Now I'm going to show you something else about ritual. Let's get Exodus 23 and 13. Let's get Exodus 23 and 13. Exodus 23 and 13. And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. Now this is going into praising the other gods, idols, the gods of the other nations. Mentioning them is going into exalting them, making mentions of their name in a worshiping type of context. When you bringing in that cornucopia, when you cutting that turkey, you're mentioning and exalting other gods. There's no way around it. Straight up and down. All right. Hey, be mad at me, because I'm gonna teach the Bible. Hey, your mama probably gonna be mad because she still keep Thanksgiving. Hey, your family, if you in this truth, you got to stay 10 toes down, because you have been, or you are being tested. My mama know me and my household in the truth. But guess what she did? She called and asked if I had room in my freezer to store her damn turkey. And we had to rebuke her. Mama, come on. You know we don't get down like that. Hell no, we not serving no turkey. We ain't storing no turkey. She like, mama. You know that's off. But your family will test you, because they want to see you break. They're not standing 10 toes down by Shema Mashiach, woman like Yahushua for Yahweh. So why the hell should you stand 10 toes down? That's their mentality. It was all love until they ain't love no more. It was all love until you separated yourself. And now the love is waxing cold. Now it gets awkward around these times for some people. You know? Let's move on, y'all. Pagan, why I titled this live? Pagan tree. The pagan tree. Pagan tree. It's kind of barred. But the pagan tree, because see, what you got to realize is far before there was ever a Thanksgiving, far before there was ever a Christmas, you had certain rituals that predated the modern classification and celebration of these holidays. One of those rituals, right, is the pagan tree and idol customs. I'm going to show y'all something. I'm going to show y'all something. Let me share my screen. Pagan trees and idol custom. Watch this, y'all. Bear with me. Bear with me. Watch this, y'all. These are things that you got to know. You got to know what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, and you're going to be caught out here. You're going to be lacking. You're going to be caught out here naked. So this goes in right here into what I mean about pagan trees. All right. This is idol worship and going into putting on, if you look up here, it's a form of like a cornucopia, you know. And look what they're doing. They're worshiping the tree and the forces of nature to give thanks for the harvest. These are old ancient Greek and Roman customs that well predate Thanksgiving, right? Decorated trees, you'll see evergreen branches, offerings hung on trees and branches, food dedicated to seasonal gods, right? Let's get Jeremiah 10 and 2. Let's get Jeremiah 10 and 2. Food dedicated to seasonal God, right? I want to show y'all something real quick. Food dedicated to seasonal God. Now watch this, y'all. Watch this. And a lot of these things blow my mind every time we talk about them, right? Food dedicated to seasonal God. Look. Food dedicated to gods include mythical ambrosia and nectar in Greek mythology, and various real-world foods like roasted meats. In ancient Mesopotamia, what do you do with the turkey? You roast the turkey, right? Chocolate, kheer, malpua, and ghee in Hindu traditions, and specific grains like wheat and barley in ancient Israelite traditions. Now, don't get it twisted. When it goes into this ancient Israelite traditions, it's talking about meat and grain offerings on the right-hand side, us worshiping Yahweh that we were commanded to do, which cannot be compared to mythological gods. Sacrificial meat, right? In ancient Mesopotamia, the gods were believed to become hungry without human agriculture. After a great flood, when the gods gathered around the roasted sacrifice of a ship's crew, they were also said to have gorged out the smoke of the roasted meat. So this is going into these different mythological, sacrifices of meat roasting and things of that nature to other gods. Now we see down here it says wheat and barley in festivals like Shabbat and Sukkot, right, which goes into the Feast of Tabernacles and Pentecost and things of that nature, right? But this is done on the right-hand side in our ancient Israelite traditions and customs, because obviously these were meat offerings, grain offerings, we had drink offerings, you had sin offerings and things of that nature that were done to Yahweh. All right. So they can't compare that. So peep this. Thigh bones and fat. According to the myth, the god Zeus was tricked into choosing the bones and the fat of an ox over the meat, establishing the tradition of offering only the bones and the fat covered in glistening fat to the god of sacrifice. So, when you go into these different pagan customs and so forth and so on, you have to realize that these are heathen pagan rituals. Let's get Jeremiah 10, the classic. Now, a lot of times we go into this in terms of more of Christmas, but it's still the point, because Christmas is not the only time that you take trees in agriculture, or people take trees in agricultures and decorate them and deck them and things of that nature in celebration of idols. All right, so we're going to get this real quick. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. All of these are vain customs because they're not rooted in truth. They're not rooted in righteousness. They're not rooted in the ordinances that are established by the Most High that will save you, by Shem Yahushai from death and destruction. It's vanity, Let's move on, y'all. So, another thing that you have to realize is when you are keeping these days, you are also directly celebrating the genocide of your people, the Reubenites and the Gadites. You're celebrating the rape, rob, murder, the pillaging of your own people. Right? Now let's look at this. Thanksgiving. What is it called? Not themes. Thanksgiving commemorates. That's spelled all right. Commemoration. And this is what they'll tell you. They'll tell you that Thanksgiving commemorated as a national holiday to celebrate the past year's blessings with roots in harvest feast, particularly a 1621 gathering between the Wampanoag people and Plymouth colonists, which we know how that ended. The holiday evolved from various days of Thanksgiving in American history, officially declared a national holiday by Abraham Stinkin in 1863, and a national day of prayer by Franklin D. Rosensmelt in 1941. Today, it is widely observed as a secular holiday focused on gathering with family and friends for a meal, although for some Native Americans, it is a national day of mourning. For all Native Americans, it is a national day of mourning. And as an Israelite, it should be a national day of mourning for the Israelite nation. It should be a day of mourning for you, for the death of your people. Let's get Genesis 49 and 19. What did it say about the Gadites? Right? What did it say? What did the word say about Gad? Genesis 49 and 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at last. And we know at last, Gad is going to overcome by Shem Yahushai, because Yahushai is going to come with the mighty troop, the undefeated, right? The invincible troop of Yahushai and the angels to overthrow the oppressors that are still here off the blood spilling of our people, right? Didn't the Most High God say that the land cannot be cured but by the shedding of blood? Paraphrasing, right? So we got to understand that when you go into, I'm going to show y'all this. When you go into even a Wampanoag, right? Let's get this real quick. I'm going to show y'all this real quick. Let's go back. Let's go to the Wampanoag. So if you go into the Wampanoag, these are Gadites, y'all. Look, these are mighty. Look, these are Gadites. Look at our beautiful sisters. Look, right? These are Gadites, y'all. These are our people who were slaughtered, right? So you're going into perpetuating. Look at this. Two Wampanoag sisters. Look at this. Get this real quick. Two Wampanoag. These are our people, y'all. These beautiful daughters of Zion. Wampanoag. You know what I'm saying? Now they're disputing over membership, right? But these are our people, y'all. So you got to get out of your head the westernized understanding that you're just celebrating family. Yeah, you celebrating the death and destruction of your family. You celebrating idolatry. That's what all of these things are rooted in, family. You got to understand these things. It's not a game. It's not a joke. This is what Thanksgiving really commemorates, y'all. These are our people they have been slaughtered. Look at this. Look at this. These are our people, y'all. Man, it's heavy when you think about it. Massacres, right? I'm going to get this. When you go into John Winthrop, right? John Winthrop, I want to show y'all this real quick. So look at this. Show y'all this. Let me show you. Bam. Look. John Winthrop. Right? Let me get this. Let me see if I can get it. Let me see if I can get it. Let me see right here. Bam. Let me see. Is this what I want right here? Man, let me see. I should have pulled this up before and found the source, but it's stated that John Winthrop, right? He declared that the first Thanksgiving was a celebration of slaughter. And the settlers were thanking their God, right? Who's not our God, but thanking their God for protecting them from the savages, for allowing their colonization to be victorious and to be successful and to be prosperous. Because remember the Puritans, let's get the Puritans, right? You got to go into the history. The Puritans were English Protestants in the 16th century and 17th century, right? Who wanted to reform the Church of England by removing Catholic practices and establishing a society based on their religious ideals. So this is Edomites against Edomites. So you had the Puritans and you had the Pilgrims who left England and established colonies over here. Their beliefs centered on a direct covenant with God. Now, last time I checked, the Most High God only made a direct covenant with the children of Israel. But they said that they wanted a direct covenant with God, a stricter moral code. So their version of moral code is coming, invading somebody else's land, raping, robbing, bringing disease, murdering, pillaging, colonizing, extorting, scalping. Do you not realize that they scalped our people? An early currency in this country was them scalping your brothers and sisters. Let that sink in. Scalping. Get that real quick. They were paying for with scalps. Look at this, man. They don't give a damn about Esau doing it to Esau. I want to show y'all something. They had our people. Look at this. Look at this. See that? A scalp. That means that they would cut off your scalp and they would trade it as currency. Bounties on your head, literally. This is the wickedness of the so-called white man. And this is why his kingdom and why he must be destroyed. Whether that's servitude, whether that's destruction by fire, whether that's however the Most High sees it fit, his kingdom has to fall. His nature is cancerous. It's destructive. It's conquer. It's no peace. Their natural state is not a state of peace. And we see that throughout history, man. You got to get out of your feelings. You have to recognize reality, y'all. This is what you celebrating. This is what you are actively participating in, the scalping of your people, the celebration of your people being scalped, right? Let me see. View it. Look at this. So we started scalping them. But you notice something though. Notice something. When we're getting scalped, that's not a let me see this. Look, when they're scalping the oppressor, all of those pictures are flagged as being, look, as being gruesome images. You see that? When they're scalping the oppressor. But when you look at us being scalped, those aren't considered pictures that they're flagging. All of these images are when the Native American, when the Gadites, when the Reubenites is scalping Esau. You gotta wake up, y'all. Wake up, man. Wake up. Wake up, Jacob. Wake up, Eve. Understand what's going on here, right? So I want to get this real quick as well. When you go into Corinthians, right? I want to get 1 Corinthians 10 and 21. 1 Corinthians 10 and 21. Right? The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 21. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devil. You cannot be partaker of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. Didn't the Most High God say, come sup with him? Right? Didn't the Most High God tell us that in the book of Revelations, the 3rd chapter? Behold, Revelations 3 and 20. I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. So you can't sit and be supping. Oh, how do you sup with the Lord? You believe in the prophecies. You have faith in Yahweh. You keep the customs. You keep the ordinances to the best of your ability. You eschew evil. Didn't it say Job was a great man, that Job eschewed evil? Right? Let's get this in the book of Job in the 1st chapter. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. And that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared Yahweh and eschewed evil. When are we going to eschew evil? Let's go into that word eschew. And that's an ancient word. Look, to turn aside, to behead, to call back, to decline, to depart from. So he departed from evil. He eschewed evil. That's how you sup with the Most High. The Most High is knocking at the door right now, asking you not, commanding you not to keep Thanksgiving. This is a warning. This is a warning. This is a warning, an exhortation. I'm pleading with you. Don't do it. Stand strong, stand bold. When your children are at school, prepare their minds to walk, to sup with the Most High, to be confident in their stock. This is what we got to get back to, family. Gotta mean something to you. Fearing the Most High, keeping the customs, loving your brother as yourself. How can you say you love your brother as yourself when you celebrating his death and destruction? How can you say you love your sister as yourself and you still rooted in idolatrous ways that's further causing us to still be in captivity under the so-called white man? Let's get back in this 1 Corinthians. So you can't be supping with the Most High and damn keeping Thanksgiving. You can't do it. You can't drink of the cups of devils, all of these idolatrous feasts, and still partake with the Most High. You can't do it. And in the ancient world, you got to realize what was going on. In ancient Corinth, right? You had so many, let's get this real quick. You had so many ancient Corinthian temples. God. There's so many idol temples in ancient Corinth. Look at this. Ancient Corinth was home to numerous temples dedicated to various gods, including prominent ones like the Temple of Apollo, the Temple of Poseidon, and several temples to Aphrodite. The city also had a sanctuary to the healing god Asclepios and shrines for other deities like Hera, Athena, Hermes. These temples reflected Corinth's religious life, commercial importance, and cultural history. So when you go into the ancient world, you always had, look, these are remnants of ancient temples in Corinth that were dedicated, right, to gods, to their idols, right? Massive architectural structures that were dedicated to their god. So there was always sacrificing of food unto idols, pagan gods, pagan rituals, celebratory slaughters, all of these things. So when you get into these modern day practices of Thanksgiving, y'all, ain't nothing new under the sun. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Let's get Ephesians 5 and 11. The book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 11 through 12. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. For it is a shame to even speak of those things which are done of them in secret. So, you know, we're bringing it out. We're shaking the hand. It's a shameful to be indulging in those things that they're doing in secret. Now, when it says to speak of those things which are done of them in secret, because it's a vexing thing. Didn't it say that Lot was vexed with the ungodly conversation? Right? Right? Let's get this in the book of 2 Peter. It says, the book of 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 7. And delivered righteous Lot, who was oppressed by, I'm going to get it in the KJV. And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversations of the wicked. So that's what it's going to when it says, for it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. Man, we don't want to, you know, we feel vexed even talking about the satanic ritual of our people, the idolatrous nature of our people, the murderous acceptance of our people, the blasphemous mindset of our people, keeping these pagan holidays. And hey, man, all praise to the Most High Yahweh Shem Shai. He brought me and my household out of that. 5 years strong through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. And you can do it too, Lord willing. And you can't, don't give it. You gotta stop caring about what everybody else think about you. And they talked about Yahweh Shai. Didn't the Most High God say, in the foes of a man's in a man's foes should be those of his household? Don't the word say that? Right? Get that in Matthew. Right? Get that in Matthew. That's 10 down. The book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 36. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. Right? I'm gonna start up. For I am not come, Salaki. Man, this whole chapter, I'm gonna start with verse 33. Matthew 10:33. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. You don't want to be denying the Lord. And you denying the Lord every time that you keep one of these Thanksgiving holidays. When you keep Christmas, when you keep Easter, when you keep Valentine's Day, when you keep Kwanzaa, when you keep. All right. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. So you cannot, you can't care what other people think, man. You have to be so bold and so loving and so fearful of the Most High God and want the kingdom so bad that the hell with your mama think. I know that's Mom Duke, but the hell with what she think. The hell with what your dad think. Because you not come, Big Mama Granny, you ain't coming to Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, that's just them. They on that weird cult Israelite. The hell with what they think. Because Yahweh Shai already told you in Yahweh's word that a man's foes, a man's enemies are going to be those of his household. He didn't come to send peace on earth. He came to send a sword. What is a sword though? A sword is a state of warfare. We have spiritual war, y'all. And you either gonna get down, lay down, or stand up for something. All right. So with that, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so by Shema Mashiach, Womalak Yahushai. Lord willing, this Manna Monday was edifying, uplifting, encouraging, and a sharp warning to the 12 tribes that are scattered abroad. Don't partake in these pagan rituals. Stand for something. Stand for Yahweh. Sup with Yahweh. Don't drink from the cup of devils. Kwam Yashala.